What is up, Boston Silkscar fans, and welcome to our PGL Season 6 Week 2 matchup against Root and the New Jersey Brobats. Go ahead, check his channel down in the description, along with all the other PGL coaches, and as well as our Discord server. If you guys want to join, there is a fan Discord server that you can go ahead and chat and throw some shade at some other... No, I'm just kidding. Don't really do that. But anyways, guys, today we're going to be dipping into a post-commentary for this battle, as you guys can see. I couldn't do a live com, unfortunately, at the time. Anyways, without further ado, let's check out the teams that we brought. I went ahead. I brought kind of a weird team. Greninja and Tentacruel. Like, I normally am just going to bring one or the other, but I decided to bring them both for whatever reason. Clefable, Dragonite, Hippowdon, this is his first time in the coming, I guess, this season, which is only week 2, so I guess a lot of Pokemon that's going to be the case for, including Greninja and Aegislash. So we got 3 new mons this week, which is pretty exciting to see how they do in today's battle. Going up against a Jirachi, Emboar, Zygarde, 50%, Hawlucha, and a Dhelmise and Umbreon. I didn't expect him to bring his Hawlucha. I thought he might, but I didn't really think that he would. Along with his Umbreon, I was kind of questioning, but I did pack on Aegislash, Sacred Sword, just in case I had to hit that Umbreon. So we do have something for it. Anyways, let's just jump right into the battle. I decided to lead with Greninja because it had U-turn, and I outspeed most things on this team. And also, we're Scarfed. We're Scarfed Greninja, so we are outspeeding everything on his team, actually, now that I think about it. He didn't bring his Mega Alakazam, which I thought that he would, which is what Greninja was Scarfed for, so that we would outspeed a Mega Alakazam. So it's kind of redundant now. We didn't really need the Scarf. Although, if he had brought his Electrode, too, that would have outsped as well. So... definitely some stuff, but as I said, I led with Kakashi, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go for a U-turn because I figured that he might switch, but also I wanted to get some more momentum. I'm not quite sure why he switched out against us. Maybe he was fearing a Dark Pulse or something along those lines, which is, I guess, completely seeable, which is why he probably went into Umbreon to really take the hit from a Dark Pulse, because that thing would take it really, really well. I decided to go into Squidward because I see this as an opportunity to Toxic Umbreon, so this thing is on a timer much, much later. And I know since I'm Poison-type Synchronized, isn't going to come back onto me, and we're not going to get poisoned as well. So pretty good things so far. The Toxic lands. Does Toxic have 100% act? I can't even remember right now. I feel like Toxic can miss. But we land the Toxic, and he sets up a Wish, which I'm okay with because, honestly, I'm not really going to be worrying too much. Nothing on his team besides his Umbreon has any damage to it yet, so I'm not really too worried. I know that whatever my next move is, he would switch in, so I'm going to actually pull a switch right now into Clefable, thinking that he might go into Zygarde, and so I go into Mavis, the Clefable, and he does end up switching out and going directly into what I thought he would switch out into, which was the Zygarde, so this was a great read on our part. Now, again, I'm going to think... all right, he's not going to stay in. Zygarde is not staying in on the Clefable, so I'm going to double switch Clefable out into, I believe it's not Dragonite. Who did I switch into? I can't remember right now. We're about to see, though. I do decide to pull a double switch, and we end up going out into big. That's right, the Hippowdon. Switch, thinking about the Jirachi. I remember that now. I predicted the Jirachi, so I went into Hippowdon. And, of course, it worked out perfectly for us because now Hippowdon's going to take this Iron Head really well because it's a big, bulky mon. I set up the Stealth Rock so I can destroy any sashes that might come later. And I figured that he would switch out again, but he actually doesn't. He stays in, I'm pretty sure. Oh, he went for the Iron Head. That's when he stayed in. And now he's going to set up his own Stealth Rocks, and I'm going to go on and do an Earthquake because Earthquake, obviously, super effective. Should do a good amount of damage to the Jirachi, and we're about to see that right now. Sometimes I get a little ahead of the game. So both teams have Stealth Rocks up, which is kind of unfortunate. I kind of wish he didn't get Stealth Rocks up. It does kind of hurt my Dragonite and stuff like that. But yeah, so we got, I guess it's rocks for rocks. Plus we got a huge amount of chip damage off with our Earthquake, so I'm okay with that. He's going to go ahead and switch out. And I was worrying that he would go into Hawlucha and I would go for an Earthquake. But he ends up going into his Dhelmise, and he's going to take this Earthquake. Now Dhelmise is pretty bulky. He's going to... he doesn't resist, but he does. It's neutral, and he's bulky AF, so he takes that very... oh, no, he does resist it. That's right. Sorry. Does resist it, and he takes it very, very well. And I thought about going for Ice Fang, but then I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense either. So I go and I switch into Jake right here, which is our big play. Could have went into Aegislash, and it would have been better. We discussed this afterward. As he goes for a Shadow Claw, I had sent out Jake. Jake takes a good amount of damage because I forgot about the rocks, even though they had just gone up because I'm a dummy like that. But this turn, I'm going to go ahead and go for a Dragon Dance because I know I can live one more of those Shadow Claws and at least do some damage to some things as he goes back out into his Umbreon. So this is a free DD right now, which is amazing. So we are at even higher HP than I thought I was going to be at. I thought I was taking another Shadow Claw for sure, which would have put me in range of probably an E-Speed. And yeah, it would not have been the best, although we do also carry extreme speed, so we could have went for that too, and then we would have outsped and hit things, but we wouldn't have killed certain things on this team, I don't think, with an E-Speed. So anyways, I'm going to just lock myself into Outrage now that Umbreon's out here, because it's the only thing that could have killed this Umbreon that I was packing at that +1. And it completely just destroys Wendy, the Umbreon, which is great. Because that is a fat mon. You guys know that Umbreon is one of my favorite defensive Pokemon. I used it in I think both the seasons that we made the championship game. I had Umbreon, and I absolutely love the thing. At least I think it was both. Maybe not. I think it was though. But definitely one season that we made it. PGL Season 3. But of course, we're locked in the Outrage, so we're just going to keep going for it. And we got a critical hit as well, which actually didn't matter. But we did take down Jirachi as well, so we're looking really good. Umbreon and Jirachi are both down, but now we are confused. This is where things get a little bit risky. We might end up hitting ourselves in confusion or anything like that, and it could be very, very bad. But he sends out Fletcher, the Delmise. We know I should be able to kill this Fletcher with, as long as I can hit, with another Outrage. So I decided to go for Outrage again. We do luckily break through the confusion. We don't break out of confusion, but we managed to still attack, is what I mean. And take down the Delmise as well. And it's looking really good. Dragonite right now has 3 kills, but last game, week 1, we were ahead in the beginning of the game and ended up losing by the end. So anything can happen in a Pokemon game anyways. But I'm going to just keep Jake out. He's at +1/+1. Looking really good. He doesn't affect me because he's Endeavor. He thought that, so he's a Choice Scarf Umbreon. He went for Endeavor, which would bring my HP down to whatever his was at. So if I had hit him with Outrage and he had lived, it would have brought me down to that same level. But unfortunately for him, I made my Dragonite, so he just outsped his Alakazam with a +1 and not a Emboar Scarfed. So it worked out really well for us. So he has to switch out, which means he's going to take another round of rocks next time he comes in. And I snap out of confusion finally, which is great, and go for an Earthquake. Now, Outrage would have made more sense. But I'd gone for an Earthquake, I think, not predicting, but to hit the Emboar. And so he came in on it. But I realized afterward that Outrage would have killed, I think Outrage would have killed the Emboar still. So I should have went for Outrage, to be completely honest. But I didn't, so it doesn't matter. We ended up going for Earthquake and followed it up with an Outrage, which, funny enough, I think that if I had gone for a second Earthquake, it might have killed. It might not have. So I decided not to play risky and just hit Outrage knowing it would kill. But it is going to put us in another confusion state earlier than I had hoped. Kind of a bad play. I think I probably should have went for Earthquake. But in the end, Outrage, it still killed. And we still get to kill one more Mon at least with Outrage. So Dragonite is going to take down this Hawlucha with an Outrage. One-shot wonder. And we're going to be confused for this final turn, but we're looking pretty good. We have all 6 of our Mons still there, still at really healthy HP, you know? All still in the green, if I'm not mistaken. And he's going to send out his Roadhog for one final time, who's going to take Stealth Rock's damage. And as long as we don't get confused this turn, we should be able to take this guy out with an Earthquake. As he goes for a Flare Blitz, which is not going to kill us, we resist. We're at really decent HP, but it does do a lot. It does do a lot. And as long as we can break through this confusion, we're going to get away with a 6-0 victory, which we do, of course, not get confused, which is great. I think we only got confused one turn, which kind of sucks for our opponent this week, but he was a good sport about it in the end. So definitely go check him out. And thank you guys all so much for watching our Week 2 PGL Season 6 matchup. It was a good one for us for sure. 6-0 victory definitely helps us. Last week we had a 0-2 loss. So this after this week our differential is at a +4, which is fantastic. However, last week we did lose to a division opponent, which is also not a good thing because if it comes down to it, those matches matter more than these matches that are out of division, I believe. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So this was an awesome step for us, but Our loss, I think, is still a little bit worse than this win because it was a divisional loss. So hopefully week 4, our next divisional game, we can end up winning that, and it'll help balance out that hoopla. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for checking out our week 2 battle. I hope you guys did go on to enjoy it. If you did, please don't forget to shield bash the like button down below. Show your support for the Boston Silk Scarves, and I'll see you all in the next one. Till then, stay frosty and peace out.